The situation's heating up in the Middle East. At the moment, Israel is looking at three possible fronts for war: Iran, Syria, and Lebanon. The situation with Egypt, which has undergone a political upheaval by the Muslim Brotherhood, is also in question. As Iran is quickly approaching the point of no return in its ability to produce nuclear weapons, analysts are trying to decipher the meaning of comments from U.S. and Israeli officials on what Israel intends on doing. According to the Associated Press, the United States and its allies believe the window to stop Iran from building a bomb is quickly closing, pushing conflict with the Islamic Republic to the top of the Obama administration's national security worries in the midst of an election year. President Barack Obama is still insisting that the standoff with Iran over its nuclear program can still be resolved through diplomacy. Israel's not saying what it will or might do, but last week Defense Minister Ehud Barak said the world understands that military action may be necessary. Israel is rightfully hushing any comments from government or military leaders who might keep letting little bits of vague information slip about what may be in the works. Obviously, an Israeli strike in Iran would not be helpful to Barack Obama during election season, nor would the U.S. becoming involved in a war on another front. It appears economic sanctions are crippling Iran, as Reuters reported that Iran is turning to barter, offering gold bullion in overseas vaults or tanker loads of oil in return for food, as new financial sanctions have hurt its ability to import basic staples for its 74 million people, commodities traders said Thursday. However, Iran is an Islamist country, and so it is. After 3 years into President Obama's term, the U.S. leader is still naive as ever with his foreign policy, and Mahmoud Ahmadinejad will withstand the sanctions, and he'll turn the blame on the U.S. and Israel in order to get his people to rally behind him. That's why sanctions won't work, and certainly they won't work in time to stop Iran from going nuclear. On February 5th, President Obama stated that he did not believe Israel had yet made a decision on whether to attack Iran. The big question is whether this is true, or perhaps this statement was a tactic of disseminating disinformation. Either way, it's clear to everyone that an attack on Iran would most probably result in a counterattack from the Persian regime, which may transform into a prolonged war. Now, the threat from Syria and Hezbollah are one and the same. Hezbollah has been Syria's proxy in its war against Israel. Syria arms Hezbollah. Syria encourages Hezbollah. Syrian President Bashar Assad is receiving more pressure to step down because of his murderous policies against his own people, in which, as UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon stated on Thursday, thousands have been killed in cold blood. There's concern that Assad, following Saddam Hussein's example from the 1991 Gulf War, will attack Israel in an attempt to rally the Syrian people and the Arab world behind him. Though this option is likely not to achieve such a goal, that nearly sighted ophthalmologist named Assad might still try such a suicidal move and attack Israel. Israel is certainly on the alert. Syria, while engaging in a brutally murderous day yesterday, having killed around 120 people on Thursday, has been moving tanks closer to Israel's borders on the Golan Heights. I've personally seen the increase in military exercises in the Golan by Israel in the past couple months, including an increase in activity involving military aircraft. Israel's not taking any chances, and for security purposes, I won't disclose any further information about what I've observed in the Golan. I will only state this: Assad better become aware about how dumb any attack on Israel would be. There's a reason that the Golan has been quiet since 1973. Still, Assad has his proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon. Though the Hezbollah terror organization is now part of the Lebanese government, they act as a separate unit and are armed independent of the Lebanese military, and they have more missiles than before the 2006 Second Lebanon War. It's estimated that Hezbollah now has 50,000 missiles, and they're willing to fire them at Israel. If Hezbollah does start a war on the northern front, the Lebanese people who are giving safe harbor to the likes of Hassan Nasrallah will once again become the biggest losers in the Middle East war. In such a scenario, Israel would be forced to fight the war in population centers of Lebanon, where Hezbollah terrorists hide behind their human shields. At this point, we're still not talking about an existential threat to Israel on any front, but the threat to any of Israel's citizens from an enemy force justifies whatever preemptive strikes are necessary or immediate and decisive responses to any acts of aggression from the Jewish state's Arab or Persian neighbors. If Israel is forced into a war, this time Israel needs to finish the war and end it with the best odds of protecting the Israeli public. The goal must be not a temporary or worthless ceasefire, but an end of the source of the threat. And this is reality.